The rain fell in a monotonous, gray sheet, just like the mood at my mom's funeral. I stood there, clutching a single white rose, feeling a hollowness that seemed to echo the empty space beside me. That space should have been filled by my dad. But he wasn't, sir. He was, according to his brief, unapologetic text, on a pre-planned business trip. A business trip? My mom, the woman he'd been married to for 30 years, was being laid to rest, and he was on a business trip. My aunt squeezed my shoulder, her eyes full of a pity I couldn't stand. He'll regret this, Lily, she whispered. I just nodded, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. Regret felt like a small, insignificant thing compared to the mountain of my grief and the anger. The truth was, I knew exactly what kind of business trip this was. A few weeks before Mom's final, rapid decline, I'd accidentally seen a hotel confirmation on his laptop. 2 names, his and a woman named Brenda from his office. The destination, a sunny beach resort. My stomach had twisted into a knot of disgust. I never told my mom. How could he? She was already fighting for her life. I couldn't bear to break her heart, too. So, as friends and the family offered their condolences, their words blurring into a meaningless hum, all I could picture was my father, probably sipping a cocktail on a sunlounger with his mistress, while my mother's casket was lowered into the cold dampers. The betrayal was a physical ache, sharper and more painful than the grief itself. Mom had adored him. She'd built her entire world around him, supporting his career, raising me, and turning our house into a home filled with warmth and laughter. And this was how he repaid her. Later that evening, I sat alone in the silent house. Every corner held a memory of her. Her half-finished knitting project on the armchair, her favorite floral mug by the sink, the scent of her lavender perfume still lingering in the hallway. It was suffocating. I scrolled numbly through photos on my phone, my thumb stopping on a picture of us from my last birthday. Her smile was so genuine, so full of life. A fresh wave of tears streamed down my face. How could she be gone? How could he just abandon us like this? I tossed my phone onto the sofa, the anger bubbling up again. I wanted to scream, to break something, to call him and unleash every ounce of my fury. But I was just so tired. The emotional exhaustion was like a heavy blanket pinning me down. I just sat there, staring into the darkness, feeling completely and utterly alone. Then, my phone buzzed. I ignored it. Probably another thinking of you text. It buzzed again, and again. With a sigh of irritation, I picked it up. My blood ran cold. The messages were from Mom. My fingers trembled as he opened the chat. It was our old message thread, the last one from a week ago where he told her he loved her. But now, there were new messages. The first one read, Lily, honey, don't be sad. My heart hammered against my ribs. This had to be a cruel joke. A hacker? Maybe my dad trying to. No more, he wasn't smart enough for that, and he certainly wasn't sentimental. He was about to dismiss it when another message came through. Your father isn't where he says he is. Check the rainy day fund. I stared at the screen, my mind reeling. The rainy day fund. That was Mom's secret stash. A little vintage biscuit tin she kept at the back of her wardrobe, filled with cash for emergencies or a little treat. She'd shown it to me once, years ago, making me promise I'd never tell Dad. This is our little secret, for US girls, she'd winked. How could anyone else possibly know about that? My feet felt like lead as he walked to her bedroom. The air was still and cool. Opening her wardrobe released a stronger wave of her scent. He pushed past her clothes, my hand reaching into the dark corner of the top shelf. My fingers brushed against the cool metal of the tin. It was still there. He pulled it out, my hands shaking so badly he could barely open the lid. Inside, on top of a neat stack of bills, was not more cash, but a small, black notebook and a single key. My breath hitched. This was her journal. I never knew she kept one. He opened it to the first page. Her familiar, elegant handwriting filled the page. It started with love. The early entries were filled with joy, describing her life with my dad, her hopes for me. But as the years went on, the tone began to shift. A slow, creeping sadness seeped into the words. She wrote about his late nights at the office, his emotional distance, the little lies that started to pile up. She knew. She'd known about Brenda for a year. He thinks he don't see the way he looks at her. One entry read, he thinks he don't notice the receipts, the whispered phone calls. Maybe it's easier for him to believe I'm oblivious. It's easier for me to pretend, too. For Lily Sake, my heart shattered all over again. She had carried this burden all by herself, protecting me from the ugly truth. even as she was battling her illness. She was so much stronger than he ever knew. He flipped towards the end of the journal, to the last entries, written in a shakier hand. The doctor gave me the final timeline, she wrote. I know David is just waiting. He thinks he'll be free, but I have one last gift for my Lily. A gift of truth and the freedom. The key is for storage unit ke-247. Everything she needs to know is sir. The rainy day fund is for her new beginning. Storage unit ke-247. The text. It wasn't a hacker. It wasn't a joke. I don't know how, but it was her. My mom was still looking out for me. A strange sense of calm washed over me, pushing back the grief and the rage. I had a mission. The next morning, I drove to the storage facility. The key slid into the lock of Unit 247 and it turned with a satisfying click. I rolled up the metal door. It wasn't filled with old furniture. It was set up like a small office. There was a desk, a chair, and on the desk, a laptop and a thick binder. I sat down and opened the binder. It was meticulously organized. Bank statements, investment portfolios, property deeds. My mother, the woman I thought was a simple homemaker, had been a savvy and secret investor for decades. She had started with her small rainy day savings and over 30 years, had built a small fortune. A fortune my father knew nothing about. The properties, the stocks, the savings accounts, they were all in her name, with me as the sole beneficiary. The binder also contained copies of my father's financials. He had been funneling money from their joint accounts into a separate one, no more doubt for his life with Brenda. He had taken out loans against their home, our home, leaving it heavily in debt. He was planning to leave my mom with nothing. He just hadn't counted on her leaving him with nothing first. He booted up the laptop. The desktop background was that same photo of me and her. There was a single file on the desktop named for Lily. It was a video. I clicked play. My mom's face filled the screen. She looked tired, thinner, but her eyes were bright and clear. Hello, my sweet Lily, she sighed, her voice soft. If you're watching this, it means I'm gone. And it probably means you've discovered your father's extracurricular activities. A small, wry smile played on her lips. I'm so sorry, honey. I'm sorry you have to deal with this mess. I wanted to protect you from it forever, but I couldn't leave you unprepared. Your father is not the man we thought he was, but that doesn't matter anymore. What matters is you. She went on to explain everything. The finances, the investments, her plans. I have left you everything, she sighed, her voice thick with emotion. Not as a weapon against your father, but as a foundation for your own life. I want you to be free, Lily. Free from his lies, free from his control. I want you to travel, to study, to fall in love, to build a life that is completely and wonderfully your own. Don't let this bitterness consume you. Live for me. Tears streamed down my face, but this time, they weren't tears of sorrow. They were tears of overwhelming love and gratitude. My mother, in her final act, had given me the greatest gift of all, my own future. That evening, my phone rang. It was him, Lily. My dad's voice was casual, almost cheerful. Just checking in. How are things? I took a deep breath. The calm from the storage unit still settled within me. Things are clearer now, Dad, I sighed, my voice steady. I know everything. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. I could almost hear the gears turning in his head, the panic setting in. I don't know what you're talking about. You will, I sighed, and for the first time since my mom got sick, I felt a spark of my own strength ignite. Mom left me a message. I hung up the phone. I didn't need to yell or scream. My victory wouldn't be in a shouting match. It would be in the life I was about to build. A life of freedom and happiness, built on the incredible, enduring foundation of my mother's love. She had given me a new beginning, and I wasn't going to waste a second of it. Thank you so much for watching my story today. It's a reminder that even in our darkest moments, the love we've been given can light the way forward. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories. See you next time.